So I want to film this really quickly. The sun is setting, I've just gotten home from work and I've got a lot to say. I filmed a video over the weekend going over my test results and I just babbled for way too long. And a few things have happened since then, so this is going to be my update. Basically, for those of you who don't know, the last appointment I had with my OB, I asked to get a whole heap of paperwork and the results that I've had for all of the tests that I've had done over the last couple of years. Excuse me if I'm not making sense, my head's a little bit all over the place. So I received that paperwork and have spent a while reading through it all and making sure that the result is within the range that is in brackets next to the result, normal range. So all of them were. I had my MTHFR gene mutation tested, a lot of autoimmune tests done, factor V Leiden I think it is, I had that done, and I've had my thyroid checked, although it was checked a while ago. It was 2.3 something, which is about smack bang in the middle of the range. So the only test result I came across that was out of recommended range was my ANA test, which is anti-nuclear antibodies test, which I went on to Google and realised that a positive ANA can be linked with recurrent miscarriages and is an indicator of an autoimmune disorder or issue. So that surprised me as to why it wasn't brought to my attention. This test was done back in May this year, before my second IVF cycle, so I was confused as to why it wasn't brought to my attention. Obviously it concerned me and made me think perhaps this is the reason for my miscarriages. One of my miscarriages, the missed miscarriage back in February this year, my pregnancy tissue was tested and it was confirmed that the baby had triploid syndrome, which is a very, very rare chromosomal abnormality. There's 3 sets of chromosomes instead of 2, and it's not likely to happen again. It's a very rare thing to have happened, and for it to happen again to me is very, very unlikely. So that kind of made us think perhaps the reason for the other miscarriages has been chromosomal abnormalities in the embryo as well. Of course, my latest pregnancy, the tissue wasn't sent off for testing, so we don't know what caused the miscarriage. But that's what we'd assumed, that it was chromosomal abnormalities, which is one of the most common reasons for miscarriage. But receiving this ANA result did make me think, well, perhaps I do have an autoimmune issue that I have no symptoms for, which can happen, and perhaps this is one of the reasons why we've had such bad luck. So I emailed my OB and he replied with this, I'll link it here. So because my antiphospholipid I think it is, because that came back normal, he didn't see the need in looking into it further. But I've read differently and I've heard differently. There's a test that you can get done called an ENA test, which looks further into why you may have received a positive ANA result. I organised for this test to be done last Monday. It's not this Monday that's just been, but the last Monday when I had my first scan. So yesterday I called my clinic to get the results because it had been a week since I'd had the blood test done, and I figured the results might have come back already. I finally got onto a nurse and she told me that the results were all negative. that didn't fill me with much peace of mind, because I've heard that before and have since discovered my positive ANA result. So I asked for her to get my OB to give me a call just to go over it all and you know, discuss treatment of my next pregnancy moving forward. So he called me last night and basically said that he doesn't think the ANA means anything, and that, you know, considering all of my other negative test results, there are a lot of people who will have a positive ANA and it mean nothing, and that I'm probably one of them. He doesn't think there's any need to give me Clexane for my pregnancy, and doesn't think it's necessary. He thinks baby aspirin and progesterone will be enough, and he said last night that he might look at giving me prednisone, I think it's called, prednisone, which is a steroid for, you know, an autoimmune suppressant, I believe. But he said, I'm not sure if I'm happy to give that to you. I'll have to talk to another OB about it. So after speaking with him, I did feel really defeated and quite emotional, actually. I hung up the phone and just burst into tears because I just felt like I want to do everything in my power to prevent another loss, and I've heard from so many of you who have used Clexane and had success, and I know every case is different, but if there's no harm in trying it, why wouldn't you? Just so you know, you've covered everything and you've got peace of mind. Anyway, so I was a bit of a mess. I put a post on Instagram and heard from so many of you, all of your amazing advice and your experiences, and I honestly appreciate it so much. The comments kept coming in overnight, and I've still got to reply to a lot of them on Instagram, but I do appreciate you sharing your knowledge. If any of you are watching, it just is so helpful, and I'm so grateful to have this platform and community. So once I got off the phone to him, I forgot to mention my thyroid, because another YouTube friend of mine, KATI&JOSH, you can find their channel, I'll link it below. She's had issues with thyroid, and she's quite knowledgeable on the subject. So she asked me what my thyroid level was, and I told her it had tested back in, this was June 2015, so it's been a good year and a half since I've had my thyroid checked, and, you know, it came back within normal range, but I haven't ever had my anti-thyroid antibodies checked, which I also read and discovered thanks to one of you who shared a link to a website that was very helpful, which I'll link below as well, because oh my gosh, I gained so much from that website. I learnt that a positive ANA can be associated with anti-thyroid antibodies. Even with a normal thyroid function, you can still have these anti-thyroid antibodies. So I remembered this after the phone call, so I texted him. I asked him whether my anti-thyroid antibodies had been checked, and he wrote back saying, no, your thyroid levels came back normal. I then shared my research and took a screenshot of the text that stated a positive ANA can be linked to a positive ATA, even though thyroid function is within normal range. So he wrote back saying, I'll get back to you tomorrow. I've gotten to the point where I'm not worried about bombarding him with questions, because I just want answers, and I just want to be heard, and for him to try and get to the bottom of it for me. This isn't a quick video. Who was I kidding? So he called while I was driving home. I had to pull over. He said he's discussed my case with a couple of other OBs, and he doesn't think it's at all he doesn't think it makes sense whatsoever to give me Clexane. All of my blood clotting results have come back normal, and he just doesn't see the need. He thinks it would be ridiculous to give me Clexane. He said he's happy to give me prednisone, which is the steroid I mentioned earlier, but said that it can cause cleft palate in the baby. The chances of this happening is very low, but said that there is that chance, and he doesn't think it's going to make a difference anyway, giving me that drug. So basically he scared me a little bit about the side effects. He's happy if I want to take that, and that would be given from embryo transfer. I'm wondering whether it is necessary, given he doesn't think it is, but I don't know, I have to think about it a bit more. If any of you have got experience using it, I'd love to hear from you. Anyway, I'm going to cut a long story short because the son is seriously not cooperating with me, and you're not going to be able to see me soon. So basically, after a long conversation, going back and forth, I requested to have my thyroid checked again because it has been a long time, and I did say to him I have read, or actually one of you told me on Instagram, I think it was, that your thyroid levels can change after you've had an IVF cycle. Oh, Tim's home. He said he's never heard that before and doesn't believe that's the case at all, but acknowledged that my thyroid was tested a while ago and that there's no harm in retesting it. He doesn't think it's going to come back abnormal, but doing that. And he's going to have my anti-thyroid antibodies tested, even though he said there's no treatment for that. If it does come back positive, there's no treatment that can be given. He's also going to retest my ANA. I'm getting my thyroid checked again tomorrow, and I'll probably do the blood test for my ANA and ATA later on, probably early next week. You know, I brought up a lot of other things, and he said, look, I think you should probably stop Googling. And I just basically said, you know, there's conflicting information out there and it's hard to know, you know, obviously there are a lot of variables. I realise that every case is different, but you know, it makes you wonder. It's hard to know what to think. And he acknowledged that, but, you know, said that he just reiterated that he, you know, thinks taking Clexane is unreasonable and not necessary, that giving me prednisone doesn't think it's going to make a difference, but there is a vague possibility that it could help, and that the baby aspirin is going to do what the Clexane does anyway, just a less aggressive form of it. So yeah, I don't know. I think I will do the prednisone. It's hard because the risks are scary. They are so minimal. You know, it just makes you think, is it worth the risk? It could mean we get a healthy baby, and you know, it could mean a successful pregnancy with a healthy baby. I honestly don't know. He said it's up to me. Taking the prednisone could help, and I just feel a bit funny about just taking the baby aspirin and progesterone without taking anything for a potential autoimmune issue when I've received a positive ANA and I've had multiple losses. You know, I want to do the right thing, and I want to increase our chances of having a healthy pregnancy and not miscarrying again. I'm so over miscarriages. I just want things to go right for us for once, and I was getting quite upset last night thinking about it. I just don't know how much more I can handle. So I'm willing to try things. I still haven't received a positive ovulation test. It looks the same each day. What cycle day am I? Friday I was 15, Saturday 16, Sunday 17, Monday 18. So I'm cycle day 19 today. Usually I ovulate around 17, 18, as I've said in my previous videos, but obviously I'm a day or two late this cycle. I'll put a picture of my ovulation test from this morning. So for a positive ovulation test, they like the line to be the same strength as the control line or darker than the control line. So it's still lighter, so it's not positive. I'm thinking it'll probably be positive tomorrow, in which case I'll get a blood test to test ovulation. Have that confirmed. I'm hoping it's tomorrow, otherwise I'll have to have a trigger injection. So that's the update. I'm probably missing heaps out, but I just don't have time with this lighting, which seems to have gotten lighter. I don't know what's going on. But I just wanted to let you guys know what's been going on with this whole treatment for pregnancy drama and test result drama. At this stage, my embryo transfer looks like it's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday next week, but I will be sure to keep you posted. Thanks so much for all of your support yet again, guys. I appreciate it so much. Love and baby dust to you all. Bye.
1, 2, 3, shaping this destiny. From soil and seed, we come from and will be. And I'm aiming for your soul. I believe I'll make you whole. And I say 1, 2, 3.